Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. It's 145, up 11% on the day. This is actually pretty awesome. You got to keep in mind Bitcoin made a little bit of a pump and Solana is 2xing Bitcoin right now. So it's really nice to see this here. The question is, do we take entry at this point now or do we wait for a pullback? Short answer is probably wait for a pullback because we're coming up to that resistance range, that 145 to 150 I talked about yesterday. And it's important to recognize there is a solid amount of liquidation there, which does imply A, yes, it should get swept, but also B, doesn't generally get swept the first time. It's a resistance for a reason. There's a lot of reasons why liquidation levels occur just above key supports or resistances, depending on the direction, and it's just important to recognize that. So future reference, that is kind of what we're looking at here. So do me a favor before we get started, hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Appreciate you watching. Thanks again. Hope you can learn something today. Let's take a look here at 145 to 150. See this range here? 250, 175. I mean, there's maybe $1 or $2 billion worth in between 145, which some of it has been swept here, by the way. It did wake up there to that level to sweep 146, but there's some new late shorts here at 147 and some previous shorts at 148. Keep in mind, they're not shorting that level because obviously you can't. The price isn't there yet. These are liquidation levels that occur. So if you see this liquidation being close, these late shorts, those are high leverage shorts. Those are more likely to get swept because they're high leverage. So, okay, so keep in mind here again, if we look at the bigger picture, each one of these bars is somewhere in the range of $6 to $7 million. So yeah, again, 1.5 to $2 billion of liquidation there at the upwards of 150. So keep in mind that could very well get swept here. We'll take a look at that. If you're not familiar with what I like to double check and look at, I like to kind of look at the standard indicators here on the daily time frame, kind of work our way down and see where we're at. Because again, we're coming up to some resistance. If you can see here, a perfect retest this 200-day SMA and an instant rejection. It's common for the first time to retest that. You could argue that this was a retest, but that really wasn't. The price is just free falling. So this is the first attempt to break the 200. It does take multiple attempts generally to go ahead and get through that level. So that in combination with this 0.5 fib level implies to me that we have some resistance above us at 145 to 150 still, okay? Now, there's still a distinct probability we're going to see the price action sweep that upper level there. It all depends on how far Bitcoin pulls back. I would say Bitcoin pulling back to 55,000 would be a solid entry. That's a good consideration there. That's a previous macro fib level, I think a 0.382 on the macro. And if it bounces off that level, we'll probably see Solana continue to retest this range and break it. But just know, a lot of resistance above us here, as per usual when you break, a lot of them to the downside here. So take a look at the RSI. We can see got a nice little bounce off 30 right in that range. Most coins didn't even went much further past that. Solana was one of the few that actually held above 30 on the RSI, which is a good sign. Shows that there was support even though we saw a very nasty aggressive candle wick yesterday. MACD is trying to converge, hasn't yet. Stochastic is starting to converge. So these are not by any stretch bullish signs. They're just things that we want to recognize that are telling us there's a shift in momentum occurring for obvious reasons. I mean, we downtrended for a very long time. We hit a 7 on TD sequential, and if you count all the candles, it basically was 8 or 9 days worth of continuation in the same direction without consolidation or bouncing, whatever the case is. It didn't happen, right? Just continue to free fall. So that's all thanks to Bitcoin, but also just Solana was massively overextended going into it, so it makes sense. All that being said, for our time frame here, it looks pretty nice, honestly. This is a nice little situation. The reason why, because we're back up over the 20-day SMA. I mentioned that being an important trend setter, so to speak. So had I been awake about 4 hours ago, I probably would have taken it along about 140, okay? Again, just generally because that's that point of control. We're above that now. Solid chance with the local point of control here. In fact, we can zoom out a little bit. You can see a lot of volume below the price action, implying that we're back up over that resistance. And there's a solid consideration for the price to continue higher moving forward. Okay, now again, it's hard to want to get into a coin that's up 11% on the day. Like, how much more profit are you going to get out of that? But on the same accord, it's also proven to be very strong and recovering here. So that's a good sign. We are peaking through 50 on the RSI, which is a good sign as well. We can also see MACD still converging, as we talked about yesterday. It started to do that, or was about to rather. And now we can see here, of course, stochastic's kind of topped out. So this little push, this little run should be maxed out for the moment. We should experience a pullback. But again, should and coulds don't always happen in crypto, okay? Again, just because we're moderately overextended to the upside doesn't mean it's going to pull back. Generally speaking, the overall sense here is that Solana is definitely broken fairly bullish, and we can see here too on the hourly we're above majority moving averages. And if we do take a look at the Ichimoku cloud here, it's confirming we're free and clear with the price action. Lagging span is looking good there. Conversion line's above the baseline, and we're well above the cloud. So these are all confirming factors. Again, I was hoping to get entries somewhere in this range today. Obviously, the price went up a lot faster and quicker. So I wouldn't say we missed out our opportunity. We just got to kind of reevaluate. But if you do take a look here, the more recent high of 135 is looking like it might be the new low for us here. Okay, so previous resistance, blast straight through, turn support. Okay, so again, we could rewind about 2 hours there and get in at 136, right? That's the way it goes. Either way, at this point, based on the way that Bitcoin is looking, I do feel like Bitcoin could pull back a little bit further to 55 to 56,000, that range, which is breaking back into now. And if that is the case, then I would seem to think that 136 to 140 would be a solid consideration for Solana as far as taking a long position. Do you short into that? Probably not. I don't think that's advisable at this point. Again, I rarely short Solana just because it's a difficult coin to short considering how volatile it is usually to the upside versus the downside. As we can see here today, it's probably one of the stronger, more performing coins here so far. So what are your thoughts? What do you think you're going to do? I'd love to hear it. Comment below. Definitely appreciate the insight. Obviously, more importantly, hit the like button, comment. That really helps grow the channel. Join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you want to. We got a really good group there. Discord's pretty phenomenal. We got these trade alerts that I'm sending now here. I got some pretty good feedback on that. I'll continue that, of course. That's for our featured members there, of course, but it's a really nice option to be able to kind of give you perspective on coins that I'm planning to trade, right? Just kind of give you an insight on what I'm looking to do. Either way, it's all available for you. I mentioned that because if you're part of our community and you don't know that's there, you probably need to go to the browse channel section and show all channels or enable it, because unfortunately Discord is really good about not bringing new content to the front for some reason. It just doesn't by default do that. So just heads up on that. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. Don't be a stranger. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.